beautiful souls, and welcome to the fourth day of the Manifest Your Most Ideal Life series. If you are new or just finding this, I invite you to go to the very first episode on this playlist or first video on this playlist because that gives an explanation of what we're doing. But essentially, I read a little bit from a Neville Goddard book, and then we do a guided meditation to ground in a more practical way these concepts of manifestation into your consciousness so that you can carry them with you throughout your day and manifest your most abundant life. Okay, so that sounds good. We will get started. If you are open and receptive to receive an energy activation for your highest and best good, say yes. If you are able to, close your eyes. I invite everybody to bring your intentions into your mind's eye, feeling them as one with you, feeling them as here, right now, feeling your 3D reality merging and molding to these intentions and your assumptions. Feeling the 3D moving now in total alignment with your intentions and your visions, because you are on this timeline, you are in this state, and everything in your 3D is molding and shifting in harmony for all involved. I believe that when we have desires, it is coming from our higher self telling us, this is your highest timeline. You can experience this. It will be ideal for you. It will be ideal for all. Trust me. Claim it. And you'll see. And that's what we're doing during this series. Okay, so I'll begin by reading a little bit from this passage from a Neville book. Experiments recently conducted by Merle Lawrence and Albert Ames in the Ladder Psychology Laboratory in Hanover, New Hampshire, prove that what you see when you look at something depends not so much on what is there as on the assumption you make when you look. Since what we believe to be real, quote-unquote real, physical world is actually only an assumptive world, it is not surprising that these experiments prove that what appears to be solid reality is actually the result of expectations and assumptions. Your assumptions determine not only what you see, but also what you do, for they govern your conscious and subconscious movements towards the fulfillment of them. Your assumption is the hand of God molding the firmament into the image of that which you assume. The assumption of the wish fulfilled is the high tide which lifts you easily off the bar of your senses where you have so long lain stranded. It lifts the mind into prophecy in the full right sense of the word. And if you have that controlled imagination and absorbed attention, which it is possible to attain, you may be sure that all of your assumptions implies will come to pass. When William Blake wrote, "What seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be," he was only repeating the eternal truth. There is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him is unclean. Because there is nothing unclean of itself or clean of itself, you should assume the best and think only of that which is lovely and of good rapport. All right. So I invite you now to bring up any past assumptions that were not serving you. Maybe you assume your world not to change. Maybe you have assumed people to show up in a way that's not ideal. Maybe you've assumed your bank balance to look a certain way. Maybe you've assumed yourself to be a certain way that is not of your ideal. What are those assumptions that are not in alignment with your ideal and your intentions? Bring those all up to the surface now. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So if there's anything unideal in your reality, what are the assumptions that you have of it? And now we're going to clear these old assumptions away and choose new assumptions. All those old assumptions that do not serve, we're calling in the divine light of unconditional love and grace, and we're washing these from your consciousness now. Cleaning them away. Clearing the slate. And now I invite you to create a new assumption. Assumption that you are your ideal now, that all is ideal now, that all is in alignment with your intentions now. The key part of the law of assumption is after you visualize or intend, you walk forth in the assumption that it will be made manifest, that this is now the way it is. So I invite you now within your mind to assume this. Even if a part of you might feel afraid or tells you to hold back, that's your old human limitation talking. It's not the truth and it's not how things actually work. Step forth into these new assumptions now. And we're grounding these and activating these within your consciousness so that moving forward from this, you can continue to walk forth in the assumption. No matter what, knowing that that's all you have to do, and as long as you continue to walk forth in the assumption, it will harden into fact. That beautiful, unseen, divine energy, that consciousness that runs through us all, the same consciousness, shifts as you shift your assumptions. And we're grounding in this. And today I invite you to walk forth in the assumption that your intentions are manifesting into your reality now, or are manifested into your reality now. Both assumptions work. Whether you know what's going to happen or if you assume it's already here, believe me, we don't need to get tripped up on tenses so much. It's more so that knowing that, oh, this is the way it is now. This is happening. Somehow, some way. Or rather, I like to say in the most ideal, harmonious way. This is grounding into my reality now. So as you move forth from this session, walk in that assumption. Remind yourself of it every single time you think of it. And especially anytime you think of the lack of it. No, no, no. My assumption creates, not the other way around. Somehow, some way, in the most ideal, harmonious way. This is my reality now. This is molding and shaping now. That's all you have to do, is persist in that. So we're just clearing out your energy field, calling in the white flame of purification, purifying any of that energy you may have released. Doing the same for my field. Disconnecting, sealing in this energy, so be it, so it is. We give thanks. I'll talk with you tomorrow.